All right, Algebra 2, Section 1.4, rewriting formula is a very important skill to have that you need to be able to do all through algebra. Okay, so the first one here we have is solve the formula C equals 2 pi r for r. Okay, even on the homeworks, a lot of people just want to solve the problem, but you won't get full credit unless you rewrite the equation. So this is the formula for circumference. Circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius. Well, if we want to solve for radius, since 2 and pi are multiplied by the radius, we have to divide by those. We're going to divide by 2 pi on both sides. Okay, and then when we rewrite it, we're end up with c over 2 pi, or c divided by 2 pi equals r. So the circumference divided by 2 pi, 2 times pi, will always equal the radius. Okay, you can even find a circle and test that. If you want to measure around a circle and divide it by 2 times pi, it should always equal halfway across the circle. Okay, then it says substitute the given value into a written formula. So they gave us a formula, or 44 inches. Okay, so we'd have 44 divided by 2 pi equals the radius. Well, there's two ways you can write this. Okay, 44 divided by 2 is 22, so the radius could leave it as 22 divided by pi. The other way you can do is actually divide 22 by pi, which will give you not a nice number. I probably prefer you leave it in this form, but 22 divided by 22 divided by pi is approximately 7.0082, okay, or 282. Check that. Okay, but probably this is the better way to keep it because it's clean, it's not messy, there's no decimals. You just know that 22 divided by pi is the answer. Okay, this one says find the radius. All right, this one's the same problem. I'll let you guys do this on your own. Just use the examples from that. If you take the notes at home, then you should be able to do this on your own. And then if you take notes in class, you need to do this afterwards and fill it in and have me check and make sure you know how to do it right. Okay, the formula for the distance between opposite vertices of a regular hexagon is d equals 2a squared root of 3, where a is the distance between opposite sides. Solve the formula for a. Okay, so we have d equals 2a over square root of 3. Well, the first thing we need to do to get a by itself is get rid of that square root of 3. Since we're dividing by square root of 3, we are going to multiply by square root of 3 on both sides. So we'd have either square root of 3d or d square root of 3. I'm going to leave it as d square root of 3. I think that's cleaner. Equals 2a. And the last step to get a by itself is to divide by 2. So we're going to divide by 2 on both sides. And when we simplify that, we get d times the square root of 3 divided by 2 equals a. Okay, so that'd be, if this was a test, that would be part of your answer. That'd be half the points you get for it. The other answer is solving when a, and then find a when d equals 10. So we'll do 10 times the square root of 3 over 2 equals a. Okay, and we can reduce that because 10 divided by 2, we can reduce those since they're out in front of each other, is 5. So we can reduce that down to 5 square root of 3 equals a. And that's probably a decent form to leave it in. And it doesn't say which form to leave it in. If it said leave it in radical form, it'd be 5 square root of 3. If they say round to the nearest hundredth, then you'd want to write 5 times square root of 3 in your calculator, which gives you 8.66. Yeah, approximately that. Okay, but if they say leave it in radical form, they say leave it in pi form and leave it in. If they say approximate, they probably want this. If they say they want the true answer, they want you to leave it in that form. Okay, and we'll talk about that as we go along in this class. Okay, solve the formula P equals 2L for plus 2W for W. And notice I'm not even looking at the numbers yet. I just want to be able to get a variable by itself. So I have P equals 2L plus 2W. Make sure this is working right. 1 second. Okay, we're good. All right. Get rid of that. Okay, so P equals 2L plus 2W. All right. So we got to solve for W. So we're going to subtract 2L from both sides to get the W by itself. So we have the perimeter minus 2 times the length equals 2 times the width. Okay, the next step to get W by itself is to divide by 2. So we're going to divide by 2 both sides. And you can leave it in this form, or you can simplify. The perimeter minus 2 times the length divided by 2 is going to equal the width. Okay. If you want to leave it as perimeter, half of it, or perimeter divided by 2 minus the length equals width, that would also work. But you could leave it in this form just to make things easier. But the other form you could leave it in is P over 2 minus, since you would divide each of those by 2, those 2's cancel out. So it's just P divided by 2 minus L equals W. So however you want to write it, that one's probably easier, so you can leave it like that. Okay, then from there it says substitute length for 12 and perimeter for 41. So for P, we're going to plug in 41 minus 2 times the length, which is 2 times the length, which is 12, equals, or divided by 2, equals W. Okay, 2 times 12 is 24, so we'd have 41 minus 24 divided by 2 equals W. Okay, and then we'd have 41 minus 24 is, I can't think today, 17. 17 divided by 2 equals W. Okay, and we can reduce that down. 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. So the width would be 8.5 inches. Okay, we can always plug that back in and see if it works. 8.5 plus 8.5 is 17. 12 plus 12 is 24. 17 plus 24 does equal 41, so it does work because that finds the perimeter. Main thing is you need to know the perimeter is all the sides added up. You need to know which one's the width and which one's the length, and be able to solve it from there. Okay. How wide it is, how long it is, all that stuff. Okay. This one's same problem, so I'm gonna let you guys solve this on your own. If you don't take notes at home, you take notes in class, and you need to solve this after we get done with the notes to try and figure it out. Okay. This one's different, so I'll solve this one. Solve the formula. A equals LW for W. This one's pretty easy. So this is length times width equals area. To get width, you just got to divide by length. So the area divided by length equals the width. Okay. Then it gives you the length and the area. So all you gotta do is plug those in. The area is 40 square meters divided by the length, which is 16 square meter, or 16 meters, equals the width. And even if you want to put the unit with it, which I haven't been doing a good job putting the units, I need to start doing that. If you have meters squared over meter squared divided by meters is just meters. So we should end up with the right unit. 40 divided by 16 is 2.5. So 2.5 meters is the width of this rectangle, if the area is 40 and the length is 16. Okay, let's go back and label some of these since I didn't do a good job of it. Meters, this should be in meters, 8.5 meters. Okay, what else? Distance, opposite side, this should be centimeters. Actually, let's just do cm. Okay, and what other one do we do? This should be in inches. Okay, so the reason I know you guys are probably like, well, why is he going back to do that? Because the units are important, and I did not emphasize that, so you need to make sure that you label the units on your homework. All right, let's see here. I will solve the bottom one. I'm going to leave the top one for you guys to solve, and you can ask questions about that because I think the bottom one's a little bit more difficult. Okay, so it says solve the formula for the variable in red. So in this case, it'd be the h. So how do we do that? Well, first, what I would do is there's two things you do. Either divide by b1 plus b2. Actually, no, you can't do that. First thing you got to do is you got to get rid of the 1/2. And to do that, we have to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 2. So multiply both sides by 2. So we get 2 times the area equals b1 plus b2 h. Okay. Actually, you could have done the other one first. Next, it's h times the quantity of b1 plus b2. We have to divide both sides by the quantity of b1 plus b2. Divided by b1 plus b2. Okay, so we get twice the area divided by b1 plus b2 equals the height. Okay, then we can plug it in. We have 2 times the area, which is 70, over b1, which is 6, plus b2, which is 8, equals the height. Okay, once you get there, simplify it down. 2 times 70 is 140. 6 plus 8 is 14, equals the height. 140 divided by 14 should just be 10. So your height should end up being 10 what? 10 inches. Okay, is your height. Okay, plug that back in and check an original. 10 times 1/2 is 5. B1 plus B2 is 14. 5 times 14 is 70, which is the area, so it does check out. I'll let you solve the other one on your own. Okay, and this is the main ones you have to do in your homework. You always got to be able to solve for y. Put it in slope-intercept form. When they say solve for y, it means the same thing. So how do we solve for y? Well, first thing we got to do is subtract 9x from both sides. So we got negative 4y equals negative 9x plus 7. Okay. Then we have to divide by negative 4 to get rid of that. And I just want to divide each part by negative 4 in case one of them reduces and the other one doesn't. Okay. So then we'd have y equals negative 9 divided by negative 4. The negatives cancel out, but 9/4 doesn't reduce, so it'll just be 9/4 x. And then 7 divided by negative 4 is negative 7/4. Okay, and you can just leave it in that fraction form. It's probably the best way to leave it. Okay. Then it says find the value of y when x equals negative 5. So we're just going to plug in negative 5 for x. So we'd have y equals 9/4 times negative 5 minus 7/4. Okay, 9/4 times negative 5 is negative 5 times 9 is negative 45 over 4 minus 7/4. So they have the same denominator, which is good. That makes it easy. Negative 5 minus 7 is negative 52/4, which can reduce down. What's 52 divided by 4? 13. 14 guards in deck, so it would be y equals negative 13 would be your answer. Okay. Don't go to that. I'd hopefully get X'd out. All right. All right. You don't need this slide because that just shows what we just did. Okay. But this gives you steps if you want to go step by step. Substitute negative 5 for x, multiply, simplify, and all that stuff. How to check your answer if you want to. Okay. This one, we have to do something. We have to factor, which you guys haven't probably factored in a while. If we want to solve for y, 2y plus xy equals 6, what we have to do is do the opposite of the distributive property, which is factoring. So since they both have a common factor of y, what we can do is factor out of y out of the 2y and xy. So if we factor out of y, we're left with 2 plus x equals 6. Okay. Then from there, since it's y times the quantity of 2 plus x, we can divide both sides by 2 plus x, or the quantity of 2 plus x. So our answer will be y equals 6 over 2 plus x. Okay. And then it says find the value when x equals -3. Okay, so we can do that real quick. Y equals 6 over 2 plus -3. You have to do what's on the bottom first because a parentheses acts as a grouping symbol. So you can even put parentheses around if that helps you out. Okay, so 2 plus -3 is -1. So we got y equals 6 divided by -1, which would give us y equals -6. So this would be your answer, and that would be your answer. You could also reduce if you wanted to do 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 6 over plus 6 over x. You could do it that way if you want to as well. And then you do 6 divided by -3. No, that would not work. No, because it'd have to be 6 over. No, never mind. Ignore that. Okay, so yeah, this would be your answer right here. Okay. Questions on that? Why am I asking that? All right, let's go. All these I'll let you solve on your own. Just make sure you do a good job of getting y by itself. Actually, this one I'll go through on number 11. We'll go through together, and I'll let you solve the other ones on your own. So 3 equals 2xy minus x. Again, we have to do what we did on the last problem. Since they both have an x, we have to factor it out. So we'd have 3 equals, if we factor out an x, we'd have 2y minus 1. Okay? Because you took an x out of 2y, you're left with 2y. You took an x away, and you only have 1 left. Okay? Because x divided by x is 1. From there, what we can do is move the x to the other side by dividing by x. So we have 3 over x equals 2y minus 1. Then we can add 1 to both sides. So we have 3 over x plus 1 equals 2y. All right, and then the last step is to divide by 2. Or, in this case, since we have fractions, it'd probably be better to multiply by 1/2 and just distribute that 1/2 to each part. Okay, because if we do that, 1/2 times 3 over x, 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times x is x, so it'd be 3 over 2x. And then 1/2 times 1 would be 1/2 equals y. Okay, so 3/2 x plus 1/2 equals y would be what's solved for y. Then we'd have to plug in 2 for x, so we'd have 3 over 2 times 2 plus 1/2 equals y. 2 times 2 is 4, so we have 3/4 plus 1/2 equals y. If you need to add fractions, you got to have the same denominator. 1/2 is the same as 2/4, so we multiply that by 2. So 3/4 plus 2/4 equals y. And then the last step, 3/4 plus 2/4 is 5/4 equals y. So that would be your answer, and what else would be your answer? This would be your answer. Okay, so get points for both of those. Okay, so solve the rest on your own. They're not too bad. Let's do this one. The video store rents new movies for one price and older movies for a lower price, as shown on the right. Round equation represents